With great traffic comes great responsibility. Welcome to the aligner wars of 2020 and 2021. The cosmetics industry globally has grown leaps and bounds in the last decade. Fueled by Instagram and the trend of social media influencers, TikTok, and other social media platforms, cosmetics as an industry has completely transformed, as is evident by the upcoming IPO of the brand Nykaa. It shows that people are willing and are trying to take control of their own cosmetics, and this has transcended possibly into cosmetic dentistry. Now, cosmetic dentistry has always been a play between braces, aligners, bleaching, laminates, composites, and crowns. But the decision making that goes into choosing these as treatment options has been the domain of the dentist. This comes along with years of training, reputation, and answerability to the patient, maybe the patient's parents, partners, spouses. It has always been a decision that is rooted in aesthetics, in ethics, in order to provide predictable results with a biological basis. And that's kind of been what dentistry or being a doctor as a service has been all about. But the big game changer is the internet and this message that went absolutely viral on WhatsApp all across the world, right? We had people coming in with huge search volumes about straightening their teeth, improving their appearance, and there were lots of videos about how people look before and after braces. And when people start searching, like this is the thing with Google, when you start searching straight teeth and braces, it picks up the kind of things that people have spent the most amount of time reading. And that is how search engine optimization works. So the blogs that aligner companies had put up on braces are painful, aligners are a substitute, braces take really long, braces cannot be removed, there are chewing problems, diet limitations, mere bete ka kya hoga, wo nuts kaise khayega, wo non-veg kaise khayega, and all of those situations that came across led to a situation where aligner companies had all the right answers with regard to these questions. Now the question is, are these the questions that we should be asking? When we're choosing a product, are we just choosing a healthcare product, something that's use and throw? Or is there a liability, or is there something that the product leaves with us during its usage? And are these the questions that a customer should be asking before choosing aligners as a treatment option? Because after all, if you're an aligner company and all you have is a hammer, then everything looks like a nail. There is a conflict of interest in case selection here, right? So let us talk about this conflict of interest. Let us talk about how things change from being a product to a service and how this specifically aligns with the healthcare initiative. Now, the service model for doctors has been around for ages. Aligners, implants, crowns, even 3M composites, Ivoclar, all of these companies exist. They market themselves and educate the doctor about their pros, cons, limitations, indications, contraindications, situations where they outperform their competitors, etc. Now, this is based in research, opinion, and a little bit of favor. And what ends up happening is the doctor chooses the one that he feels is most appropriate for himself, given his skills, his limitations, and his understanding, the infrastructure that is provided to him, and what the customer wants. And that completes the service model, and this has worked for hundreds of years. There have been slight variations, there are some controversies, but at the end of the day, this has worked. Now, what changes with the product model is that you have the introduction of blogs, websites, Instagram, and all of these things that are trying to generate direct interaction and traction from the customer. This kind of eliminates the doctor from the loop, and many of the correct questions that people should be asking aren't the ones that are being asked. That is the kind of danger that comes when you come with a product model. It depends highly on ratings and reviews. There are a lot of important points that often get overlooked completely, but there is a very direct traction and there's a complete contraction in the margins because the company is going direct B2C. Has this happened before? Yes, absolutely it's happened before. Let us start from Lenskart. Now, Lenskart was in this domain where they were providing what used to be a service. It was a service to get your eyes checked and have frames which were a cosmetic appeal. So there were doctors and optometrists that were retailing frames, but with the added knowledge of understanding whether you needed anti-glare or whether you needed photochromatic and all of these decisions. When you gave this power to the customer was often leaving out and including things that he may or may not need. But was it as consequential as it is with braces or with aligners? That's the question to be answered. Amazon replaced all of our bookstores. They replaced our music libraries, those music worlds that used to exist. 1mg kind of reduced the need and the dependence that I had for an interaction with my neighborhood chemist, and a lot of things like that. It kind of drove down the margins because they were not paying rent at any locations. They just had these central warehouses and delivery boys. So that's kind of transformed the entire situation. Even Big Basket is delivering fresh bread, eggs, milk right to your door, cutting out the job or the service that the milk wala or the doodh wala used to provide at 5 a.m. in the morning, driving through the fog, dropping off your milk in Delhi. Right? So this is nothing new. Evolutions like this and revolutions like this have happened not just in healthcare but outside of healthcare as well. But the tough questions that we need to ask is case selection being done poorly? Just because we have a hammer, are we treating everything as a nail? What exactly are the effects of using aligners for every case? What are the roles of oral hygiene and periodontal health? How can we have these things evaluated, standardized, and incorporated into the treatment selection plan? What about TMJ issues? Do we have an adequate awareness of TMJ issues that may come about and treatments for them? How do we address relapse? Because if aligner companies are going to be getting a treatment done, directly, they're going to be capturing patients. And if there's a relapse, who's going to take the blame? Whose responsibility is a failed case? Does this become a medical legal issue? Does the aligner company need to have a DMC number or an IDA number or a DCI number? Or does it go to consumer court just like any other product? What is the return policy? I mean, I cannot return the damage that you've done to my teeth, if at all, right? And no, at no point in time am I saying that aligner companies are bad or they're the villains. I'm just trying to say that there are a lot of tough questions that need to be solved because this path is not just a product that can be given, sold, received, and discarded. There's a lot more that comes into this, right? And also, what all does consent include? If aligners are going to be as simple as me buying a cable or a charger off Amazon, is that going to come with all the responsibilities and the liabilities that my dentist was subject to at all? What we need in this situation is policies. We need organizations such as the iOS and IDA, DCI to deeply think about where this business is heading. Rather than just coming out with randomly condemning statements, what we need is to understand that this is the future. Profit is the greatest force of evolution. And every single area where profitability has been possible, it has become possible. What we need are responsible business practices to be instituted. We need studies and research to validate the claims that aligner companies need, and we need policies to be able to have a hybrid model where the liability, profitability, and aesthetics of the entire situation are well balanced, right? But where does this leave us? What are the opportunities that exist? Now, if you're an entrepreneur and you have a little bit of money in your bank, buy yourself a 3D printer, learn aligners, start your own company. Who knows? It's absolutely trending. The cost of customer acquisition is at an all-time low. It might be a good chance for you, maybe if you have 45, 50 lakh lying free. If you're a practitioner, have no fear at all. Think of it this way. The rates of aligners have dropped and the interest is spiking. All of your existing clientele is still going to come to you and they are going to now ask you about the ads that they have seen. So educate yourself, take advantage of the low rates and try to convert some of your patients into aligner patients and enjoy the profits while they're there. If you're looking for a job, get certified in aligners. If I have a BDS person come up to my clinic and say, "Hi sir, I'm certified in aligners. I'll be very happy to convert a lot of your cases into aligner cases. I think I know how to market that." That's a great add-on if you're looking for a job, if you're an intern or a postgrad. And if you're a student, then try to understand the diagnosis, case selection, and try and get certified in aligners as early as you can, because just like implants, crowns, and other trends, aligners are going to be possibly the next big thing. And that wraps it up. With great traffic comes great responsibility. Make love, not war. That was Byte Shorts by Shrey.